of the coolest parts here at Diefenbunker. Little explanation, first and foremost, what costume am I wearing, Jessica?
All right, so you are wearing a UN Force uniform, complete with the beret. This would have been used prior to 1990 when they changed their patterns.
All right, okay. And we're going to show you a couple of the costumes that kids can actually have the chance to put on if they come for the spy camp, if you come and have your birthday party here. Lots of fun things to do. Now, sneaking up behind us, we've actually got a guided tour group because you can come to the actual bunker and do a guided tour or a self-tour. There's so many different things you can do.
Yep, that's right. So we have guided tours at this time of year at 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock during the week.
Okay.
You can also book a private group tour just whenever it's convenient for you. Just need a minimum of 10 people to call in.
All right. Now the blast tunnel. Can you tell me a little bit of history behind this?
All right. Well, as you were told before, the Diefenbunker was built to withstand a 5 megaton bomb at 1.8 kilometers or 1 mile away. Now you can imagine that would create quite the blast wave if it did go off in this area. You'd have 2,000 kilometer per hour winds. You'd have air pressure over 100 pounds per square inch. So the purpose of the tunnel was to divert the majority of that force of the explosion into another direction. It actually runs perpendicular to the entrance.
Okay.
So the idea was that the force of the energy would just go straight through and out the other side of the tunnel, and you wouldn't have the direct blast hitting the bunker itself.
How realistic do you think that idea is?
It varies on how powerful the bomb was. This was built for the 5 megaton bomb, but of course if they had a larger one or dropped it closer, it's harder to tell whether it would still be able to stand up to that.
Now, if a nuclear bomb had been dropped, how many people would have been brought down into the bunker?
The bunker was built to hold 535 people for a 30-day lockdown.
All right. Okay, so now if people come for birthday parties, what are some of the different costumes that they'll get to try on?
All right, so with both our birthday parties and our spy camp, this is sort of an opportunity for us to reach out to local children and help them learn about the Cold War, and they sort of get to do a spies in training scenario for both cases, part of which includes disguises and learning to dress up like that. So we do have here some actual vintage Cold War uniforms. So Sarah here is actually wearing a radio navigation or operational Air Force jacket from after 1968. Yeah. And we have, of course, our vintage Cold War nurse here wearing a costume from that time. Emily is wearing a battle blouse. And, of course, Jill over here has our NBC suit. Stands for Nuclear, Biological, Chemical.
Oh, my gosh.
So
he looks like a mannequin.
Yep. So if you actually had to go outside after the nuclear blast and the air's full of radiation, that's the sort of thing you'd be wearing.
Exactly, exactly. And it's very cool when you come for the tour here. You go through the huge lead doors, and then there's that decontamination chamber that you would have had to have potentially gone in where had you been radioactive. But it blows my mind. Now, before we go, there's two options if people are looking to learn about the Cold War. So either you can send a programmer to the classroom, right?
Yep.
Or you have something you can send to them. So tell me a little bit about that.
All right, well, these are a few objects we include in our outreach kit. So as you said, either we send one of our staff over to the classroom or we send these to a school or library and the teacher takes care of them. So the outreach kit and the Cold War Comes to the Classroom consists of a collection of artifacts, objects, lesson plans that teachers can use to assist in teaching about the Cold War.
Right.
So this particular object here, and just pardon me, I'm going to put on the lovely white gloves because it is an artifact.
And let's not stop the tour. Come on through, guys. Never mind us.
So this is what we call the Doomsday Clock, so it's kind of a visual metaphor. We have, of course, the planet here, and we have it set 2 minutes to midnight. Now, during the Cold War, this was a common metaphor for being very close to destruction or to the end of the world. Midnight, of course, being that metaphor of total destruction. So being 2 minutes away was very suspenseful, so that helps that.
So much to learn here. I'm so sorry. We have to go. But head to their website and look at all of the information, or swing by the Diefenbunker, do a guided tour. We've got one going on right behind us here, or wander around, do a little self-tour. So much to learn and lots more coming up this morning on CTV Morning Live.